the next one is your fight, Sadiq Yusuf versus Diego Lopez. You are very excited about this guy,
Yeah, bro.
and I mean, let's be real, man. He pretty much delivered, and he delivered it in a great fashion. He shut out Sadiq Yusuf's lights. Great fighter, and even I'm excited for him. I really liked the way in which he fought.
भाई मैं तो सही बता रहा हूँ. I was so excited for him because it's just I talked about it in the predictions video as well. भाई एक होती है यार बंदे की मतलब आई टेस्ट के बेसिस पे तुम क्या कहते हो कि और बंदा कैसा फाइटर है. भाई आई टेस्ट के बेसिस पे यू कुड टेल डिएगो लोपेज इज गोइंग टू बी एन एलीट फाइटर. बंदे की मतलब पावर इज जस्ट अदर वर्ल्डली मैन. मतलब उसने ही जस्ट टच्ड सिद्दीक यूसुफ एंड ही जस्ट फेल. कुछ कुछ एकदम ही पैक्स एन इनसेन पावर इन हिज हैंड्स. तो I was very excited for him. He's got a lot of potential. I mean, just the way he goes about it. His kicks are good. His striking is just so fun to watch. He's so fast also. Like he's lightning fast with his combinations. Just like every other Mexican fighter. I mean, he's really not Mexican. He's technically Brazilian, but he's in that Mexican camp. So he's half Mexican, you could say. I mean, he does call himself that. So again, great fighter, man. Great potential and fight. I thought it would go to decision, but man, he has impressed me so much. And Sadiq Yusuf,
Far from it.
and for Sadiq
Far
Yusuf,
from it.
the doubts were mainly about his cardio. I mean, I thought he would get out cardioed maybe, but then for him to get cracked like that, I was not expecting that, bro. Like we have never, I don't think we have seen him get cracked in the UFC. He got finished one time before UFC, but yeah, the way he just got cracked, it was insane to watch. It just shows how good Diego Lopez is.
Yeah, I mean, bro, he looked very a very technically sound striker and just like a good overall package. I think this was the first fight that I saw of Diego Lopez. So as much as I knew about Diego Lopez, I knew from you because you seem to be very excited about him, and I think he pretty much delivered in this fight. So I am very excited to see what happens with him in this division. He's in one of those divisions that is packed with killers.
True.
Featherweight hai, and let's see what do you feel happens now, man. Like Dan Ige is above him. Good fight in my opinion. Edson
Forget,
Barboza is a great fight.
forget Danny Gay, man.
So
I've got
who
two
is he
very,
fighting?
I've got two very good matchups.
Tell me, shoot.
Bro, Edson Barboza, as you said, one that's a very good fight, man. Elite striker
Really
in
good
the
fight, yeah,
division, and the second
yeah,
one, Giga Chikadze. What a fight, man!
yeah.
These are if Giga Chikadze still wants to fight. I mean, he's been so inactive, so inactive ever since
Yeah,
he took a beating from Calvin Cater.
yeah,
But and I get it. He's also a bit older. I mean, he had a very
yeah.
good win against Alex Caceres, but yeah, I think it's about time that he fights. It's been a while since he last fought. I think it has been about 9 or 10 months since he last fought. So I think Giga Chikadze's Diego Lopez would feed families, bro. It's a sick fight.
But I think if you want to test your mettle against the veteran of the sport, then Edson Barboza is the
For sure.
fight, man. And Barboza has been in a on a on a decent win streak, right? He's won his last two, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah, he's been
or
doing well
maybe
recently. Yeah, yeah.
he's doing
He's won
very
his
well.
last
Yeah.
two. Yeah, yeah. In fact,
So I'm
Barboza beat Sadiq Yusuf only.
excited for excited for the division in general and excited for what Diego Lopez does in the future as well. And we move on to Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Again, Holly Holm pulled off a submission. The veteran got the best. The
Kayla Harrison
veteran,
pulled off the submission.
Kayla Harrison. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad. Kayla Harrison pulled off a submission. Yeah,
yeah,
she got the better of the veteran man.
yeah. I mean, भाई मैं तो सही बताऊँ, I was very frustrated because obviously I had Holly Holm winning the fight, and now I look like a fool.
Yeah,
But what frustrates me the most is that okay, I get it. So Holly Holm has in the last 4 or 5 years, उसने एक नई strategy बना ली है because she's very. I don't know if you've seen how jacked she is. Like she's very strong, Holly Holm, compared to the other fighters. I mean, when we're talking about Kayla Harrison, that's she's a different beast altogether. So, but in comparison
yeah,
to the other fighters, uh, Holly Holm is a very she's very strong in the clinch. I mean, she also developed a very good grappling game, like a wrestling game for herself in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, her base is boxing. She's the best boxer, I believe, in the division. But again, her game plan, I just couldn't understand it, man. I mean, she went and tried to clinch with Kayla Harrison, a two-time gold medalist in the Olympics. Are you crazy? Like, who gave her that game plan, man? Like, I don't know what she did. Because I remember, I know she in the post fight she did talk about uh, her not being able to implement her game plan, and I hope this it wasn't a part of the game plan, because it would have been the most stupid way to go about it. ऐसे किसका
Yeah.
मतलब दिमाग काम करता है भाई कि मतलब सीधा जाके क्लिच। आई नो पिछले कुछ फाइट्स में उसने ऐसी विंस जीते हैं, काफ़ी सारे डिसीजंस उसने ग्राइंड किए हैं क्लिंच में फाइट कर करके, बट अगेंस्ट केला हैरिसन इट वाज नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क एंड इट डिड नॉट वर्क। इट टर्न आउट बैडली फॉर हर। शी कुडंट डू एनीथिंग टू केला, मैन। कुछ भी नहीं कर पाई वो, apart from that one takedown,
यार
almost half takedown, I believe she almost took Kayla down,
हाँ
which was okay. I get it, it was very impressive, but what about it, man? कुछ फायदा थोड़ी हुआ उससे।
I think Holly Holm got battered in both the rounds. First round, uh, it was almost 3 minutes of getting battered, and I mean, Kayla Harrison was raining down with punches on Holly Holm. Holly Holm did not have an answer to most of those punches in the first round, and I think she just came sprinting through the gates at the beginning of the second round. Holly Holm was forced to give her back eventually in the exchange, which led to the finish. But it is what it is. So, what happens from now? From here, should Holly Holm call it a career? Should she continue fighting? Maybe go to boxing because you were praising her boxing a lot last
Yeah,
time.
I
What should
think
she?
she's done in terms of boxing. I mean, I don't think she's going to box again, because when you're
Okay.
so away from the sport for so long, it's never a good idea to go back, because
That's true.
the fighters that she was competing against have now either retired, or there's a new generation of fighters in boxing now. So there are, and women's sports are just they're evolving rapidly. Like, it's like how
Yeah.
it's not like men's sports. Men's sports is quite, men have been playing sports for uh, more than a century now, right? So, but that is not the case in women's sports. So women's sports are quite new these days, so they evolved really fast. So I don't think she has a chance when it comes to boxing, if she goes back to boxing. She's 43 years old, I believe, 42 or 43, something like that.
42.
42
42,
years
yeah.
old, and the problem is, man, the problem is, if you put her up against someone who's unranked or someone from the lower rankings, like, I think she could pull off a couple of wins. Like, it's not hard, it's not going to be hard for her, but हर फाइटर की एक मोटिव होती है कि क्यों लड़ना चाहते हैं, एंड स्पेशली फॉर समवन लाइक हॉली होम हु हैज had such a decorated career in two different sports. I mean, for her it would be very, I mean, उसके लिए उसकी मेंटालिटी उसकी ईगो के लिए सही नहीं होगा टू कीप लूजिंग टू फाइटर्स, राइट? बिकॉज शी वांट्स टू बी,
That's
बिकॉज उस लेवल के फाइटर्स जो होते हैं वो सिर्फ दे ओनली वांट टू फाइट फॉर द टाइटल, राइट? दे डोंट वांट टू बी अ गेट कीपर ऑफ द डिवीजन. सो आई एग्री विद डेना वाइट. He said Holly Holm should retire. I think she should retire, but if she is going to retire, I don't know, because these fighters, they don't get paid enough, man. They just want to keep fighting and they want to keep making money. I know what's next for Kayla Harrison, though. I mean, she has already
who is
called
she right
out the whoever is going to win between Pennington and Juliana Pena. I mean, that is a sick fight. I just hope Juliana Pena wins, because she would have some chance against Kayla Harrison. No offense
That's
to
true.
Raquel Pennington, though, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very big fight.
That's a great fight, yeah. And speaking from great fights, yeah, let's move on to Calvin Cater versus Aljamain Sterling. First of all, before I start this fight, now I have been on that Aljamain hate train because of what he did against Piotr Jan. But I just fail to realize कि लोग क्यों इतना boo कर रहे हैं भाई उस बंदे को अभी भी. मतलब he has proved his mettle against some of the best people in the bantamweight division. He's come to the featherweight division and he's dominated Calvin Kattar for 3 straight rounds. And I don't understand why the arena was booing that guy. I get it. I was on the hate train for a while because of how Aljamain was, what he did against Piotr Jan. But since then, he's really proved himself, right? And this fight was also a testament to that, to his skill. He out-grappled Calvin Kattar. He dominated him. I think it was a 30-27 decision, if I'm not wrong. and he looked great. He looked great, and I would say that he looks more of a featherweight than, because he's a big guy, man. He's a big guy for bantamweight.
True, true, true.
But I don't get the point. I don't get the hate that people are putting on Aljamain. I mean, get past it, bro. Get past it. Like, for real, get past it. He was very good in that fight. What do you think happened in the fight, man?
Bhai, I agree with everything that you said, man. I was so impressed by Aljamain. I mean, forget what people are saying. Forget what people are saying. It doesn't matter. You know, most fans are casuals. They just do not take the sport that seriously. They just want a boxing match. They want a striking match. Kickboxing match is what they're interested in.
That's
Fuck that, bro. Like, मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता वो क्या सोचते हैं. भाई, Aljamain Sterling, people have to understand. इसमें context बहुत ज़्यादा important है. Calvin Cater had never been taken down more than one time in his entire career. Um,
यार बहुत डेकोरेटेड रेसलर है in
भाई
himself यार.
भाई
He's
मतलब
very good.
काफ़ी उसकी टेक डाउन डिफेंस इज रियली गुड आई मीन consider
Yeah.
obviously he hasn't fought a lot of grapplers but he did fight Josh Emmett bro like who's again he's a very good wrestler as well so not just Josh Emmett a couple more fighters but again when you're dominating someone like Calvin Cater like that it is very impressive and it's your first fight moving up it's crazy bro like how are
It's
people
not
mad
against an easy guy.
yeah
It's
it's not
against a guy who's
exactly
best people in the division.
yeah, he's fought. Calvin Cater has fought some all the best guys in the division. Obviously, apart
Yeah.
from Volk and all. But like,
Well, yeah.
but then again, I just think it's a very good it's a very good win for Aljo. I mean, he looked as you said, he looked very big, and he looked. I thought he looked bigger than Calvin Cater, man. Like he looked a lot thicker.
He did. He did. He
He
did.
looked a lot thicker than
He did.
Calvin Cater, and over
Yeah.
time he'll put more muscle on, I believe, and he'll be a perfect featherweight, bro. So,
Yeah.
anyway, like I just think there are a lot of decent matchups for Aljamain Sterling moving
He's
forward.
eighth in the division already. That's fucking great, bro. I think
Yeah.
there are good fights below him and above him as well. But uh, my 2 cents are either he should fight Arnold Allen Lex, because I believe he's a great grappler as well, or Movsar
Yeah,
Evloev.
that's
What
the
do you
fight.
think?
That's bro. Fuck all the fights. मेरे को देखनी है Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling भाई. I mean,
Um,
one of the decision merchants have to go. I'm kidding. But भाई कहने का मतलब ये है कि यार both they're both such elite grapplers. I don't think it will be a grappling match ultimately. I think ultimately होगी striking match उनकी. And the
that's
thing
my point. It's very funny how it ends up being that. Now you expect a lot of grappling and it just turns into a
I think
striking match.
it's the I believe it's the ego of the wrestlers and grapplers. They don't want to be taken down. The wrestlers, I think जितनी ego strikers में होती है उससे ज़्यादा ego wrestlers में होती है. Wrestlers बहुत ज़्यादा pride लेके घूमते हैं मतलब
Yeah,
take downs को लेकर मतलब they're very insecure. जब take
yeah,
down वो accept नहीं करते. I think that that's bothered a lot of fans is that Mozart Evloev does not have a finish yet in the UFC. All of
yeah.
his wins are decision wins.
Topuria also called him out on that.
Yeah, exactly. And
Topuria,
fair play.
um,
Like I get it. Like I respect Mozart for his wins. Like he has been dominant in almost all of the wins. But
yeah.
the fact that he does not have a finish, I understand if he does not get a title shot based on that. So if he does fight Aljamain Sterling, and it could be a decision win again for him, I don't mind. But if he is beating someone like Aljamain Sterling, it further cements his case for fighting for the title. So I would be very excited to see him fight Movsar Evloev next. But
That,
I don't know what the UFC is going to do next because since Aljamain Sterling is somewhat of a star in the division because I think he's he's definitely a bigger star than Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, and Movsar Evloev. I don't know about Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. I would like to assume he is a bigger star than them because he was a champ. Uh,
yeah.
so maybe the UFC could match him up with either Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez. Yeah, you never know because when you think about it, since Max won, I think he's the number one guy in the division who's going
Yeah.
to fight for the title next, and that's pretty much locked in. Also, I believe like Max is he's pretty convinced that he's going to fight for the title next, and so is Ilya. As for Volk, he's going to be the next guy fighting after Max for the title.
Yeah.
So Brian and Yair are technically, they're not in the line right now. They're not currently in the line, so they need.
And then they've also fought recently, so I don't see them
Yeah,
fighting for the next 4 months, 5 months or so.
yeah.
So here's what I think. This fight, depending on the context, could also end up being a potential title eliminator and could really stack a third guy after Max and Wolf fight for the belt. If Ilya stays champ, right?
Yeah.
Because if Evelev gets a finish, again, I was talking about context,
Hmm.
I think he makes a decent case because Ilya did speak about him. Ilya spoke about the fact that he did not get a finish, and if Evelev gets a finish now, he makes a very strong case to fight Ilya,
Hmm.
right? And similarly, if Aljamain gets a finish, Evelev, good fighter, ranked fifth in the division, and Aljamain is a former champ here. So I think Aljamain makes a very strong case to, and he's going for glory right now. That second belt, irrespective of whether you hold it one belt at a time or two belts at the same time, doesn't matter. You have that second belt, two division champ. That's a big thing in it. That's a separate feather in your cap, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will not be surprised if the winner of this fight could potentially end up getting
Hmm.
a title shot, depending upon what happens at other places in the division.
Right, right, right. Makes sense, makes sense.
Yeah, moving on to the main event of the prelims, Prohaska versus Alexander Rakic. So you had Rakic winning in this fight, and Rakic was doing pretty well. I'll be
Yeah,
very
man.
honest. Round one was scored in his favor, 10-9. He was giving trouble to Yuri, but Yuri being Yuri, of not I would still say not the best win, but I think Yuri disrupted his rhythm to an extent, and he got a good finish. So let's see what happens to Yuri after this. But I mean, take it away, bro.
By that,
What happened in the fight?
again, just just as I predicted Marina Rodriguez और Jessica Andrade, I did in both the fights मैंने एक चीज़ बोली थी कि भाई नोटिस करना ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा हो सकता है, and I said it in this fight also. मैंने बोला था कि भाई there could be a scenario where Rakic could be too polished, too technical and too comfortable in the octagon, and Jiri would just march forward and overwhelm him, and that is exactly what Jiri did. I mean, the thing with Yeri is कि and मेरी गलती है, मैं ही stupid हूँ भाई. He has fought like 30 times in his career, man, and every
Hmm.
time he has come up against someone who's very technical. I mean, भाई just think about it. क्या तुम वो फाइट देखकर कह सकते हो कि जिरी ज़्यादा टेक्निकल है रैकेट से? आई स्टिल कांट से इट, मैन, बट
Not
देन
at all. Not at all.
but I feel
I
like
agree with that.
but I feel like if they fought 10 times, Yuri would win 9 times at least. He would at least win nine
Yeah.
times, because that's just the way he fights, man. That's just the way he approaches the fights. And he has done it over 30 times in his career now. So it's just stupid to doubt him at this point. I thought Rakic was going to be too polished, too technical for him. He was, but again, it didn't matter at the end of the day, because Jiri bhai, he's a madman, he's a zombie. He ate everything. Bhai, itne clean
Yeah.
punches he ate. The one twos that he ate from Rakic was, it's insane, and the kicks that he ate. Rakic is
Hmm.
one of the best kickers in the division, by the way. I think Alex Pereira के बाद सबसे best kicker वही है division, man. His kicks were so solid, so technical, and without any telegraph also. But Shiri just took them all, man. He just ate them all and just moved forward and punished them. Insane stuff, भाई. मतलब मैं, I mean, it's one of those fights, भाई. तुम ये चीज़ predict कर सकते थे, but then अगर तुम इस जिरी के फाइट्स में तुम अगर लॉजिक के साथ जाओगे तो फिर भाई तुम ही गलती कर रहे हो. ही इज लाइक द टोनी फर्गसन ऑफ द डिवीजन, मैन.
It's it was a great fight, yeah. I don't think किसी के भी I don't think Rakic के stocks hurt हुए हैं इस fight से,
या
to be
सेम
honest, यार. He needs
सेम.
and there's no shame in losing to a guy like Yuri Prohaska. But
या
what do you think happens to Rakic next? Who is he fighting in the division?
मैन, इट्स अ वेरी, so what are the rankings like right now? So Rakic is number 5,
Rakic is
right?
first right now.
Yeah, I think.
Prohaska is first.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. So his fight against Jan Blachowicz, it did not. It ended with an injury, freak injury. So I think the
Yeah,
rematch would be awesome for both the guys.
that's
Uh,
great, bro. Fourth.
it's a winnable fight for both the guys. And I think. I mean, दोनों ही
Yeah,
काफी अच्छे complete strikers है, complete fighters हैं दोनों. It's a very good fight actually. Yeah, now that I think about it.
yeah.
तो I think वो fight काफी सही है. He could fight down the rankings, but I don't think सही रहेगा वो, because Jan Blachowicz के
Makes
लिए
no
भी
sense.
भाई, because the thing is Jan Blachowicz will have to fight someone down the rankings right now, because as you
He
saw,
would.
I don't know if you saw, but Jamal Hill versus Khalil round 3 got announced
Yeah, it
earlier
got
in the
enough.
morning. So
Yes.
if that fight is happening, Jan Blachowicz will have to fight Alexander Rakic, because he already fight Ankalaev, which was a draw. They could do a rematch for
Yeah.
that as well, but I think Ankalaev's camp is pretty convinced they're going to fight for the title next. So there's only one option for Jan Blachowicz realistically, and it's Rakic again. So that fight is clearly the one.
Yeah. That could be a very good fight.
Yeah.
If Ankalaev is undefeated in 4 years, I think fighting against Pereira is a pretty good fight. But I think Pereira might be a bit hesitant because
That's the
of
thing, man.
very obvious reasons.
Technically,
Yeah.
technically, it should be Ankalaev versus Pereira next when it comes to
Yeah,
merit. But again, that's not how the UFC works, man.
that's true. That's true, man. But great prelims, yeah. Great fucking prelims. Really, really enjoyed the prelims.